Hello, Victoria. Hello. This isn't working. No, no. Hello.
Yep, I
Hello?
just let you know I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can
I
hear
won't
you.
have any video, but I can be heard and hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Is this Victoria?
No, this is Nicole.
Hi, Nicole. My name's Peter. Last name's Peliquin. I'm supposed to be at this meeting. I'll
Okay.
only be able to be on audio.
Okay.
Okay, so the meeting has now just started to be recorded. Let the minutes reflect that in fact it is 5:03, and with a quorum being present, I will call the meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission to order. Before we get started, I must read the governor's order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people who may gather in one place. This meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public can be found on the Town of Freetown website, freetownma.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website or YouTube channel an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Okay. That being said, just a couple of housekeeping items. We have a request for continuances for items number 5, 6, 7. Additionally, item number 8. Where do we stand, Victoria, with the 12 Forge Road? Have they requested a continuance also?
No, they want to give an update.
They want to give an update. Great. Okay. So that being said, I will call to order items 6, 7, and 8. Those are all continued, previously opened notice of intent public hearings. And I would entertain a motion that we ask for a continuance. What's the date again? You said February 8th?
Yes.
So that I would entertain a motion that we continue those 3 public hearings to February 8th, 5 o'clock via Zoom.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
And I'll support Mr. Sullivan's motion.
Thank you. Motion made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. We must do a roll call vote. So Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris Mathers.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimous. So those 3 public hearings will be continued to that date. Item number 5 is a notice of intent for 3 Locust Street. I will call that to order, but I must make note that while the notification of abutters and the advertisement was in the newspaper, the public hearing notice was not posted for the required week's time. It's not 48 hours like everything else. So that being said, and since we don't have that, we haven't reached that threshold yet, I'm not going to take any information or any presentation on this public hearing, and we'll simply continue it through a motion to February 8th, again, 5 o'clock via Zoom. So I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make
I'll
that
make the
motion.
motion. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Excellent. Thank you. Motion made, supported. No further discussion. Roll call vote. Charlie?
Aye.
Charlie, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Chris, aye. Kevin says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. For those that are here for the remainder, for remaining items, and would like to try and follow along as best they can, all of the plans and much of the paperwork and reports we will be talking about tonight are on our website. If you go to freetownma.gov, scroll under boards and committees, look for the Conservation Commission, click on that. On the left-hand side, you will see where it says Conservation Commission current filings, and you will see the various items that we will be talking about tonight, so you can follow along that way. Okay, that being said, since we've continued all the items, then we need to move on to, we have two certificate of compliances. One's for, they're both for 66 County Road in East Freetown. I was contacted by a lawyer's office in addition to the property owner. These are what I would consider ancient. They're probably 20 years old, if not, right, Victoria? Yeah. Work has been done and then some. They're looking just to get certificate of compliances to enable to close out that remaining item at the registry, and so they can move on with the sale of their home. So that being said, the work was for construction of a home, septic system. Additionally, there was a barn that was built out back, all approved, all done in conformance with our permits, but they just need this to tidy up their house sale, the sale of their home. So that being said, I'll entertain a motion that we issue the complete certificate of compliances for both items A and B, 66 County Road, and the other one is labeled County Road, Cleveland Park Road. It's at the corner there. So that was prior to that having an address. So I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support the motion.
Motion made, supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Roll call vote. Charlie.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris.
Aye.
Chris Mallor, aye. Kevin Damaris says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Again, for the record, and I know we've done this one other time before, but just so that everybody can hear, I've been signing the documents as you've given me permission to sign your name in instances during these COVID times. So I just want to reiterate for everybody and just get, again, your approval. Charlie, you're still okay with that, correct?
I'm fine with that. Thank you, Kevin.
Excellent. And Chris, you're still fine with that, correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, next on our agenda, item number 3, we have a request for determination of applicability. This is for 73 County Road in East Freetown. The applicant is Seaponte Realty, representative is Nicole Latondra. Watershed Environmental, Inc., and the scope of work is a septic system upgrade. Again, you can find these plans on our website, and you're going to want to look at the plans, not the actual request. And Nicole, are you here tonight?
I'm here.
I thought I saw you. Excellent. So if you would, we have the ability to look at the plans online. If you would like to screen share, you may also do that. So for the record, just state your name and we can move forward.
I'm Nicole Latondra. I'm an engineer with Watershed Environmental, which is my company. I have been asked to do a septic system upgrade at 73 County Road by Seapont Realty Group. And I'm not sure what you mean by screen share. You have the documents. I can talk about them, answer questions.
That's fine. That's fine. No, in some instances using Zoom, I don't do it myself, but there's some sort of magic, and I think Byron actually did it once, where you can show your screen and we can all see it. If that's not the case, we have the plans setting right in front of us via the computer, so we can move forward as you wish.
Well, I'm actually on my home computer. I don't have the plans on my home computer. If I did, I could screen share.
Okay.
But if you're looking at the plans, the existing system that's there is a It's a septic tank with what appears to be a blind drain heading in the
Yeah.
direction of a nearby wetland. The wetland is very close to the back of the house. It's 50 feet away or so, something like that. And there's also wedged between the house and the garage, adjacent to the breezeway, is a shallow well. So I was working against quite a few constraints there. And
Yeah.
I kept the system, it's a flow diffuser system up against the road. Well, not on the road, but I have the necessary setback from the road. And I'm replacing the existing septic tank with a 1,500 gallon tank. I don't know what the size of the existing tank is, but I'm calling for its replacement in any case. The system would also involve a pump chamber and in a distribution box. It's a simple three flow diffuser system. And there's a rather large evergreen or pine tree that might have to be knocked down.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of close
It is
there.
close.
So, at the end of the day, you're right, that this is a huge upgrade. I can't imagine having a shallow grade with a blind drain that doesn't appear to be much more than 15, 20 feet away. This is a huge improvement, getting it as far away as you can. So I guess everybody appreciates that. You have identified the wetland flags, again, keeping in mind that septic systems are a temporary disturbance, typically not much more than a week's time. There is no imminent threat to the wetlands with this plan. You've provided us with a siltation control. The only thing, and I'm looking for the note, and maybe I just don't, okay, must be pumped and removed or collapsed. Yeah, okay. So we see that on there. So that's typically what we ask, is that any existing infrastructure there, if you will, or septic tanks, you say you have a blind drain, but if you happen to find through exploration, if you happen to find that you can remove that actual drain too, that's fine, but they must be either crushed or filled in accordance with whatever provisions the Board of Health requires.
I think I have a note on there about if
You do.
any part, hang on a minute.
I see that, yep. Downstream existing septic components to be abandoned while pumped and removed if they are encountered during construction.
That's the one.
Yep, no, I like to ask leading questions to give people information in case they don't have the plans in front of them and they're listening. So that being the case, you've ticked all the boxes. This is a huge improvement. And this is not a public hearing, so we're not required to take in public input, but if there is somebody that has a question or comment. Okay, that being said, I will entertain a motion on this request for determination that we issue a negative determination number 3, that while the area is in a buffer zone to an area that's subject to protection of the act, it will not dredge, alter, or fill said area. So no need to file a notice of intent. So I'll entertain that motion, a negative determination number 3.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Motion's been made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Roll call vote. Charlie?
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Chris Mallon, aye. Kevin Damaris says aye. Okay. So what we'll do is I'll sign those documents and we can send them out to you, or if you'd like, you can make it a point to come by and pick them up. What would be your pleasure?
I don't expect to be in the area
Then we will mail them right out to you.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, my biggest concern really is how does this evolved to the Board of Health involvement now? Do you send your,
Under normal circumstances, I'd be stamping a bunch of sets of plans. I hand them to you at a meeting, and then you'd supply those at application with the Board of Health. In these situations, it's hard for me to stamp plans. You come down and grab them. So typically, you would supply the Board of Health with your application and a couple sets of plans. They always ask me to go in there and sign off on plans. So I would go in there. I stamp the plans as already gone through conservation and being approved, and you go on your way.
okay,
So as soon as you get the application in with the 2 sets of plans for them, I will sign them too.
well, I already did.
Then I will march myself up there tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
and I will sign them for you.
Okay.
See, we aim to please here. All right.
I'm
We'll
very,
also send you a copy of this in the mail, obviously the copy of the RDA and everything else. But I will make sure that those plans get signed and they can move forward on them, Nicole.
great. Thank you.
All right. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
now.
Nicole.
See you, Byron.
Okay, next, we have item number 4. This is also a request for determination of applicability. This is for 5 Causeway Road. Again, those are on our website. You can see the plans are there. Additionally, they were kind enough to supply us with some pictures. Some folks may or may not remember this. Charlie, you may. The old Seymour Kevelson property there on the corner of what we call Narrows Road and New Narrows Road, right? Next
Right.
door to that, they sold another lot. That came before us for RDA, and all the subsequent work that they had proposed was outside of the our jurisdictional buffer zone, so they did not require a filing with us. Subsequent to that, the new owner has come in and asked for a couple of menial things, and one that if you look at the pictures is of a bit of a significant issue. Is Mr. Peliquin here tonight?
Yes, I'm here.
How are you, Mr. Peliquin?
Fine, thanks. And you?
Oh, very well, thank you. So this again is an RDA, and the type of work that they're being requested to do, and not that I want to speak for you, Mr. Peliquin, but I can speak to the fact I've gone out on this location. You want to install a 12 by 12 chain link dog pen.
Correct.
And again, under normal circumstances, if this was the only only activity, we wouldn't be requiring you to come in. Additionally, with the 10 by 16 storage shed, particularly where you're locating it, if you look at the set of plans, it's up high. It just happens to be in the buffer zone, which the bulk of your lot is. But more importantly, I think the crux of this all is you're concerned about safety, Mr. Peliquin, and if you would just speak a little bit about that.
Well, I'm concerned about those trees at the lower end of the property. The roots seem to be very shallow, and that one tree that you can see that was uprooted in a strong wind gust. It wasn't a hurricane or anything. So I'm going to be having grandchildren playing in the yard. I'm going to be having dogs running around. I think that those trees are a hazard in that their roots are also probably very shallow and subject to damage. And the bigger the tree gets, the greater the chances of there being a problem. So I would like to take them down. I will plant other trees that won't grow so tall.
Okay. I know when we talked out there, because I think, understand, and you pointed out, the roots, while they're shallow, but they perform a service, if you will, in helping stabilize. And I know we talked about not wanting to, if you do cut these trees down, that maybe you don't cut them flush with the ground, that you might leave them 6, 8, 10 feet high, so that the root ball would still stay intact.
That's not a problem.
Okay. Additionally, you mentioned that you were going to try to upright that tree once you could safely cut it as it's laying on, upright the tree with the hopes that the roots would, help stabilize that bank to a certain degree. Is that correct?
Yes, I was hoping to be able to upright it by using one of the trunks as a long lever, taking everything else off the tree, And hopefully there will be enough of a weight shift once everything else is taken off that I could lift that lever, that long trunk, with the
Sure.
help of a few other people, and
Right.
see if we can get that to settle back down.
Okay. I do appreciate the fact that you're willing to, and you offered it, I didn't ask, but you offered to plant, trees. Oftentimes, we talk about that folks then go out and buy trees that aren't native to the area, are not native, to, the type of habitat that you're in. And you told me something interesting, that you had gone to a store that specializes, I guess, in the
It
conservation.
wasn't a store, it was an environmental organization that had a
Oh,
large.
I'm sorry, okay.
In Brookline, Massachusetts. And everything that was there was native to Massachusetts. Lots of people, lots of plants. We did bring some stuff home with us, which
Okay.
we're ready to plant in the Sonnet.
There you go. So typically when we ask for, tree plantings or shrub plantings, that we would twofold. One that's native to the area, and when I say native to the area, I also mean the environment for which you're going to be putting in, and one that would, if at all possible, have some sort of benefit to the wildlife, right?
Okay.
Some people, depending on the type of wetland, you might plant high bush blueberries, that kind of things. I appreciate that you're going out there and doing that. So at the end of the day, the real request we have is to install a chain link fence dog pen that's 12 by 12, I believe, and then you want a small shed, 160 square foot shed. That doesn't even need a building permit because it's under 200 square feet. And will you be excavating for a full footing, or are we?
No, it'll be
No.
on cement blocks.
Just putting it on cement blocks again?
Yeah,
Typically,
and then I'll tie it down with some cables.
yeah, typically an exempt activity again, too. So the only real issue is the 3 remaining trees, and I will say that when you look around that area, just down the Bay Shores in general, particularly over there, there's been a good number of trees that have come down over the years, and fortunately your house wasn't there and you didn't have something go terribly wrong for you. So, but you said you would be in agreement to just cutting the trees and leaving them about 8 feet tall.
That's fine.
All right. So there's 3 trees that you're going to be cutting and leaving them about 8 feet tall. When do you plan on doing this work?
I'd like to get it done before they start growing again. I hope to get it done in this winter or early spring.
That's the perfect answer. Yes. We can get it done. If we can get it done in under frozen conditions and hard ground conditions, that's going to be good for you. So I would say that since you're not proposing any excavation, just merely going to be doing some of this tree pruning, and it's aggressive, but there's no need for siltation control in that case. So does anybody from the board have any questions? No. All right, that being said, again, this is very similar to the last one. While it's in the buffer zone, it will not dredge, alter, or fill an area subject to protection. So I entertain a motion that we issue a negative determination number 3.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support the motion.
Thank you. Motion made, supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Roll call vote. Charlie.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Pelican, we'll get those things signed, and we can either send them out to you, or you can come down to Town Hall and pick them up. What's your pleasure?
I'll come pick them up.
Okie doke. Just do me a favor and call the office or email the office just to make an appointment. And what do I mean? Just let us know what day you're going to be here, so that she only works in the afternoon. So anytime after 1 o'clock, typically Monday through Thursday is fine.
Okay.
All
Will
right.
do.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Yep.
Good
Bye
one.
Okay, items number 5, 6, and 7 we have already continued. Item number 8. Did I continue that earlier? I did, yes. That was in that other motion to continue, so I continued that. So next on our agenda would be a continued notice of intent public hearing for 3 Friend Street. I will call that public hearing back to order. I see Byron is here. And Byron, I guess you may start. Just state your name for the record and we can move forward. Again, those folks, if you're here for this public hearing, on our website, you can find the information. If you would like to ask a question, we let the applicant make their presentation, and then we open it up for general questions. Just politely get Victoria's attention on the computer screen, or just politely interject, and I will recognize you, and we can get your question asked and answered. So, all right. Take it away, Byron.
Okay, since we had our last meeting a couple of weeks ago, we have obtained approval from the planning board for this project. They granted a waiver from the stormwater runoff mitigation because of the area being an area subject to storm flowage, which I believe the commission granted that waiver to us on the 11th also.
We did.
And then there was a, we had in our response to environmental partners on the drainage easements, there are 2 drainage easements. We had that was going to be maintained by the owners of lot 2 and jointly by the owners of lot 6 and 7. Planning board asked that that be changed, so the easements will now be owned by the town, and there'll be a deed. I should say the maintenance responsibility will be owned by the town, and the easements will be deeded to the town.
Okay.
So other than that, there were a couple of items. I just got a letter in from environmental partners this afternoon. 2 very minor items. One of them we had discussed last time, that was submit the stormwater pollution prevention plan prior to construction. The applicant has no objection to that. And they have asked us to pull the erosion control line further away from the resource area. We have plenty of room to that, and we'll do that. Other than that, I believe that we've answered satisfactorily all of environmental partners' property comments.
Okay, and I know there was a question on the intimate stream. It looks like that's been closed out.
Correct.
And you've agreed to, where possible and practical, to remove the siltation control out of the resource area. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Adam, you're here, correct?
Yep.
I'm getting a lot of corrects, yes. Do you agree with Byron's statements?
Yes, yeah, there's the stormwater pollution prevention plan thing, which he discussed, and then the erosion control line, which he also discussed as a condition of approval, moving it back. Not sure if the
Okay.
board would want to see a revised plan as a condition of approval prior to construction.
Yeah, typically if there's going to be changes like that, we would ask for them to at least provide us with an updated, just that one sheet or whatever sheet shows it. If you want to do it on one sheet, Byron, that's typically how it is.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So again, folks, we're talking about peer review letter number 3. It's the one that's dated today's date, and I've read it, and I want to say thank you to both the applicant and EPG. There was a lot of nuances to this particular project. I think everybody's learned something new relative to land subject to coastal storm flowage. And so I do appreciate people on both sides taking the time to work these out. Does anybody from the general public or from the board have questions or comments relative to this plan? Again, this has been approved by the planning board, and the only other condition that was talked about was the SWIP, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, and that should also be a condition of approval, as referenced in a prior EPG comment. And you want to get that prior to the construction, is what you're saying, Adam, correct?
The SWIP, yeah,
Couple weeks, Kevin.
I'm sorry?
We'll get it done within the next couple of weeks, which will still fall in the guidelines of what you need for the Conservation Commission anyway.
Yep.
So you'll get that. We'll forward it off to the commission. You want us to copy Adam when we put it together?
Yes, please. And, you know, we'll review it. If there's anything outstanding that we just don't understand or can't wrap our heads around or whatever, you know, we may send it off to Adam for further review. But right now, we'll look at it.
All right. We'll just send it to you then, not to Adam.
Yeah, and we'll, and I'll have Chris, you know, send it up there from the board just, well, if we need to. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay. So nobody has any other questions about this?
I'm good, Kevin.
Excellent. All right. Okay, that being said, let's just talk about the conditions of approval, and they were twofold. And Adam, correct me if I'm going wrong, but we would like to see that the SWIP plan. And Jim, you say you're going to get it to me in a couple weeks. So would you rather I give you a date of 30 days from now, or would you rather I say that you can't get a building permit, or I say the board says that you can't get a building permit until that's done?
Well, we don't really need a building permit, but I guess I would say that we can't start work, Kevin, without it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean building permit. I mean us signing and you getting, it's not a condition of, we need to have that within 2 weeks' time.
Yep,
Okay, so we'll get it in 2 weeks then.
within 2 week period, yes.
All right, and that way it's still during the appeal period, and that way, you know, once the appeal period's through, we sign it and you're good. All right. So that was the first condition, and additionally, if since the applicant is amenable to it and has indicated that they can accommodate the request, that we be provided with an updated plan, and it just has to be the location of the siltation control that shows that every effort has been made to remove that from the actual resource areas when practical and possible. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion that, on those two conditions, that be conditions of approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and supported to approve those two conditions for approval. If there's any further conversation on that motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Charlie?
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Smaller, aye. Kevin Damaris, aye. Passes unanimously. And if there is nothing else from the general public, at this time, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Kevin, on
Sir, Jim, you have a habit of doing this to me every time I go to close a public hearing.
I know.
Okay.
The procedure for the plans, we're gonna send them to you for approval first, through the planning board or through conservation, because they both need to be signed.
When you say the plan, so the updated,
Yeah, the updated definitive plans for this also need to
send
be
to the
signed by-
Conservation Commission and to Planning Board.
Okay,
So if you just send it to us in one, and we have a couple plan sets, we will sign those. You know, we have a certain amount that we have to sign for Planning Board, and I forget how many, I think there might be 2 or 3 for that.
You need
but you-
bylaws for the planning board, correct?
I'm sorry, yeah, we're gonna need MyLars too. So we'll need a paper copy, and we'll need a Mylar copy, and then typically what they do when they bring it to the planning board, is they have other copies so that they would have them signed for the work site. Given that we're in COVID, it is what it is. And if you want, just submit those set plans to, Conservation, and, I'll get those signed for you also. Is that what you're asking, Jim?
yes, thank you, Kevin.
Okay. You're welcome. All right. So, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion made.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and supported to close the public hearing. If there's no further conversation on that, we'll take a roll call vote on that motion. Charlie?
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris?
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin Damaris says aye. Passes unanimously. Okay, that being said, we'll need to make a motion on the overall approval. So I will entertain a motion that we approve the plans. What's the plan date on that, the most recent? And I know that we're gonna have the additional, detail on the siltation control, but what's the most recent plan set?
January 18th, I believe.
January 18th, you say?
Right.
Excellent. Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the plans as submitted, that are referenced, revision date January 18th, with the two aforementioned and previously approved conditions, that the SWIP plan must be submitted for our review prior to 2 weeks' time from today. Additionally, that we receive a updated plan sheet, if you will, of the siltation control showing, in fact, that it meets the condition as we've mentioned earlier of removing it from the resource area. So I will entertain that motion now.
I'll
make-
make that motion.
I'll second
Motion's
the
been made and supported. Motion made and supported. There's no further discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor? Charlie? Did Charlie say aye?
I did.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Sorry, Charlie. Chris?
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Again, gentlemen, I will sign the plans for you when we do receive them. Byron, if you'd be so kind to, whatever you do, forward it to us electronically. It'll make it easier for us to disseminate to our board.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right.
Kevin, open issue with EPG. I'll drop the check off on my way home, $1,000 for Kopi Cut and $1,200 for this project.
Perfect. You'll drop them off in the box. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll drop it off at the box on my way home tonight.
Okey doke. We'll make sure we check it in the morning. Thanks, Jim. So we have, the next is a continued notice of intent, public hearing for 0 Rocky Road. This is for so I will call that back to order. The applicant is Ken Resendes, the representative is Byron Holmes of Holmes Engineering, and the scope of work, this is in relation to an application that's previously approved for a soil removal operation through the soil board. You've got your permit to remove it, it's just that you've got some work that's in and around wetlands. So again, folks, this is a public hearing. You can go on our website and you can find this. You will see that this is the first one. It's the Copacut Road, Rocky Road, Smudge Woodlot in Assonet. And the most recent peer review letter is letter number 3. That's dated January 21st, 2021. All right. Again, folks, if you have questions, politely get my attention. We'll let the applicant make their presentation and we'll go from there. Go ahead, Byron.
As you said, Kevin, this has been approved by the soil board. That was back in October 26th. Since then, we've been working back and forth with environmental partners and with your commission to get the issues on the wetlands. As you know, they're quite extensive out there.
Yeah.
Most recent comments we had were January 21st. They were relatively minor, but they did want an additional test pit at basin number 5. That was done on January 22nd and was submitted by email up to environmental partners. And then there was, they wanted some more detail in the calculations that were submitted for the sediment forebays. I know that Adam and Renee Gagné of Zenith traded some emails back and forth. It's my understanding that that's been squared away also. And then, of course, the same condition is under French Street on the SWPPP of having that done before construction begins. And I believe that takes care of the outstanding items.
Okay. I'm reading the peer review and I see where those were outstanding. Adam, have you had an opportunity to review the information that was submitted relative to that test pit or test hole? And do you agree with Byron that those are the only two outstanding or only outstanding items?
Yes, we got a sketch that the applicant sent on
Oh, I think he's breaking up.
Oh, Adam, are you breaking up? Oh, Can't hear you anymore, Adam. Adam, you still there, buddy?
He shows muted at this point.
Oh, he shows muted. Oh. Oh, okay. You're showing muted right now, Adam. What, these is that you? Adam?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you started and everything was going good. So,
Yeah.
So are you in agreement that, that everything has been addressed other than the condition for having the stormwater prevention plan, in hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Kevin will do the same within the next 2 weeks. We'll get that to you. And Zenith is the consultant that's going to put both plans together for us for both Kobe Cut and Friend Street.
Oh, okay. So Byron was just agreeing to a lot of stuff that he's not even going to do. That's good job, Byron.
Well, I'm not the one that said they'd be done in 2 weeks.
I'm gonna say you didn't. I know. I tried. Right. I tried to give Jim a month, but he said 2 weeks. I like his style. Okay. So that being said, and again, Adam, the only outstanding condition, if you will, is that we receive that SWIP within the next couple of weeks.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Does anybody from the board have any questions, comments? For those that are interested parties in this, we've been looking at these for quite some time now. I know that's probably been several months that so if it seems that we're moving through these things, it's because we've gone over them a bunch in the past too. Again, I'd just like to acknowledge the work on both sides here with this project. I know between Zenith and Byron Homes and EPG, a lot of work's gone into this. So, all right. If there's no other questions or comments from the general public or the board, then I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and supported to close the public hearing. Okay. I'll do a roll call vote. Charlie.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin, aye. Kevin Damaris says aye. Passes unanimously. That being said, what's the most recent plan set for this one now? I'm trying to scroll through 3 things at once, and it's not helpful. Byron?
Byron, you know what the date of the plans for Kobe Cut's last one is?
Hold on.
I think it's December 29th, I think.
It is
Yeah,
December 29th.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just wanted to make sure that's the most recent revision date. Okay. That being said, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the plans as submitted, revision date is December 29th, with the condition that the SWIP be provided to the town for review within 2 weeks, prior to 2 weeks from tonight. So today is the 25th, so that would be the 8th, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
I'll make the motion.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. I need a second.
I'll second it.
Excellent, Charlie. Thank you very much. So motion being supported. There's no further conversation or discussion. Do a roll call vote. Charlie.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Chris.
Aye.
Chris Mather, aye. Kevin, aye. Kevin Damaris says aye. Passes unanimously. All right. Same thing with that. Once we receive that paperwork and once we receive the checks, we will be able to sign off on those plans. And then from there, you should probably forward at least one set of approved plans to the soil board for their files also. Did everybody go silent on me?
I'll do that.
All right, I was expecting Jim to tell me, yeah, I'll have it down in the morning with the checks. Yeah.
Check will be
All
in
right.
the box. Byron will get you the plans.
All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, gentlemen, so, if there's nothing else, I think we're good, correct?
I think so.
All right, perfect. Well, you folks have a great evening. Thank you, Ken. Thanks, Jim. Thank you, Byron. We'll see you, I'm sure we'll see you down the road on something else.
All right.
Thank you all, too.
Thanks to the
Yeah.
commission for all their help in EPG getting this done.
All right, you're welcome, sir.
All righty.
Folks, stay safe.
See you later.
Okay, take care.
Bye now. Yeah?
Arrivederci.
Thank you. So, next on our agenda is item number 11. We have a continued notice of intent, public hearing for 12 Forge Road. I will call that back to order. This is the applicant, Ryan Young. The owner is Michael Brillo, and the representative is Richard Tabasinski. I hope I got that right. I apologize. And this is for a ground-mounted solar array. If you remember, we had opened the public hearing. There was quite a few interested parties and comments that were made. My understanding is this is currently in, or still undergoing the rigors of peer review for both Planning and for Conservation Commission. But the applicant has asked to give us a brief update tonight, I was told. So, do we have somebody here to address that or to represent them?
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christopher King, and on behalf of Richard Tabazinski, I'm here this evening with CVE North America for the project that you had just referenced. We appreciate your time and just understanding, as noted, we are currently under peer review for both Planning Board and Conservation Commission. We wanted to use this evening's forum just to give the commission a brief update, understanding ultimately we will be requesting a continuance to allow for time to document hopefully compliance with any outstanding issues EPG has identified as part of their review. For the conservation related items, if you folks remember, one of the items, if you will, that came up as part of EPG's review was that they had recommended that the actual delineation be reviewed by a third-party reviewer, which did take place on January 11th of this year. Brooke Monroe visited the site on behalf of the town, in addition to our wetland scientist, Mr. Ward Smith with Wendell Wetland Services. They reviewed the delineations that are currently shown on the plan before you. I believe you should be in the receipt of an email from Ms. Monroe, basically confirming that she agrees with the delineations that are currently shown on the plan. Additionally, the chair had noted that the wetland delineations as they're shown are basically cut off at the property line, particularly along the northern edge. And so we had just noted that, our standard practice is to keep the delineation to the on-site wetlands. But understanding that how a wetland, for lack of a better description, turns once it goes off property, those areas were specifically visited and reviewed just to confirm that the wetlands, once they leave the property, do not make one of those turns that would cause additional jurisdictional area or warrant further mapping. Again, Ms. Monroe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chair, but I believe Ms. Monroe has documented such in her email, basically confirming that, although the wetland areas are cut off at the property, they continue in a manner as to not pose jurisdictional areas. Therefore, the plan before the commission in that respect satisfies any requirements that would be required to ensure a complete and thorough package for review, if you will. One item that Ms. Monroe did point out, in her email correspondence was the presence of the intermittent stream that runs, basically parallels the railroad bed. So she had just recommended the buffer zone associated with this area is shown on the plan. So we'll make sure that we do show that although the distance makes it such that the proposed improvements do not encroach within the 100 feet associated with that intermittent stream, we will certainly make sure that that information is clearly shown on the plan to allow the commission to make that same determination. Other than that, again, the project is currently being reviewed by EPG. We realize that, we have issues that still need to be resolved with Adam and his team. We're currently working to do so. We're continued by the planning board. The next time we appear before the board is February 16th. So again, the intent tonight was to give you the update. I just basically finished. Hear any additional comments, and then, again, ultimately request a continuance.
Okay. Yeah, so, and again, for folks out there, this is a relatively new one. We've only really had, I think, one public hearing, so this is earlier on in the stage here. I do have just a couple of questions, procedural. Okay, I see that we got the peer review letter. I see a wetland review letter. Mr. King, has there been a response letter to EPG to try to address some of their concerns? And if you are responding or have a response letter, typically we like those to be sent to conservation and planning also, so that we're in the loop, and your response letters can be up on our website also for consumption by the general public. Now, it may just be phone calls, but I would anticipate at some point in time there would be some sort of narrative produced. So one, has there been? And two, if there has been, can you make sure that we get it in, and if you do one in the future, just make sure we get it.
Absolutely. So there has not been a formal response. We plan on doing so, and so noted, we will make sure that all of the respective parties are included on that distribution list to make sure that everyone gets the same information at the same time.
Okay. Is there anybody, since the applicant is here and our peer review is here, is there anybody here from the general public that would have a conservation question? Again, keeping in mind this is both a planning board and Concom issue. Concom jurisdictionally only has authority over the wetlands and buffer zones to those wetlands, not necessarily anything else that may be dealt with, whether it be noise or traffic or the like. So. Is there anybody here that has any questions relative to the wetlands tonight? No? Okay. So that being said, and I do appreciate, Mr. King, you coming giving us an update. And I know Adam is working on things. There was a bit of a hiccup, just so everybody understands, Adam, and so you're in the loop too. The applicant has sent us a check. Unfortunately, it has not made it to us yet, and I say unfortunately because it was mailed some time ago, and we're at the point now, I believe, that they're going to just issue another check. Is that correct, Mr. King? Are you aware of that?
I have Ryan Young with CVE on the phone with us this evening, who might be able to better answer that. I am not aware of whether or not the second check has been sent out yet. But either Ryan or Asa, if you guys know the status of that and will be able to provide an update, that would be great.
Yeah, this is Asa from Atlantic. We are working on getting that resolved. It was just an issue.
Okay.
I guess the mail was backed up, and we're planning on actually getting that out tomorrow.
Yeah, we had our fingers and toes crossed.
Yeah, same here.
The water department sent out notifications to everybody, 3 weeks before the new year, and well, they didn't get delivered until 2 days before the new year. So I was kind of hoping that we'd still get it in the mail, but if not, let's just, before we start going down a road, maybe we can give it another week, but, at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we're gonna be able to pay EPG. I know you folks are good for it, I'm sure, but, it's just part of the process. So I appreciate you guys looking into that.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And, yeah, we're I think it's getting resolved tomorrow. So
Yeah, I know you guys are aware, but I just, again, want to keep everybody in the loop on the board, so. Sure. If there's nothing else to add on that, and if there's nobody from the public that has any questions, if anybody from the board has any questions? If
I'm good,
not,
Ken.
all right. So you said you're not going to be you're on the 16th
Correct,
for planning board, is that correct?
correct, yes.
Would you anticipate that you would be ready for conservation on the 8th, or would you like to go, our meeting in February would be the 8th and the 22nd?
So I guess, I would, again, in the interest of everyone's time, I personally don't have experience before you folks, but we're working to get a package back to EPG sometime this week, and that would, give them, at least a couple weeks time to review it prior to the February 8th hearing. And so,
Well,
I don't
February
see
8th is in two, I don't mean to interrupt, Mr. King. February 8th is in 2 weeks from today. So,
Sure, and so I guess our intent would be to appear before the commission, I guess, one last time, once we're assured that we've wrapped everything up. I know Adam is on the phone with us this evening. I don't want to put him on the spot, but if we were able to get something back to EPG this week, hopefully that would give enough time for Adam and his team to review everything and hopefully issue a letter that at least is wetlands related and from a stormwater standpoint, give his final blessing and hopefully put the commission in a position to render a decision at the hearing on the 8th.
Okay, so-
And that would be predicated, of course, upon, we would be before planning board, but we would, of course, be amenable to a condition that would be, your order being, contingent on, a valid.
well, at the end of the day, not to get into much of mechanics, but, you may eventually receive a conservation, permit, permitting some of that work. And what we've done in the past is conditional upon, final approval, and it's kind of a tweener here, we don't anticipate that the planning board's gonna make you get any closer to wetlands or do any more harm to wetlands, but at the end of the day, you may in fact get done with us, but with a condition that whatever updated plans may be a product of the other public hearing, that we be provided those. And
Sure.
Additionally, and this is why sometimes it's the applicant who makes the choice of when they want to get the Concom permit, because it's their jeopardy, that if through another public hearing process, there were significant changes to the plans that would require a filing of an amended notice of intent. That's really only happened to me once. So that typically doesn't happen, but that'll be up to you guys. So what I'm hearing is you want to be continued to the 8th. Worst case scenario, if everything doesn't fall in a row, you could always come back and make a small presentation, and then we could continue to the 22nd. So that being said, I will entertain a motion unless anybody else has anything. No. All right, I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 12 Forge Road. This is for the construction of a ground-mounted solar array, and to February 8th, 5 o'clock via Zoom. I'll entertain
I'll
that
make
motion.
that motion.
Thank
I'll
you, Chris.
second.
Thank you, Charlie. Motion's made and supported. No further discussion. All those in favor, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie says aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather says aye. Kevin says aye. Passes unanimously. All right, folks, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you for your time this evening. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda, we have item number 12. This is finalized job description for gatekeeper and open space consultant. Charlie, you made a great point. I think we've had that revised and sent out to everybody. So it indicates what you probably pointed out, that the requirement of a high school diploma, if you will, would essentially eliminate any number of folks that may still be in high school looking for summer employment or something along those lines. And again, the open space consultant, the Conservation Commission has the authority to appoint consultants. This is an unpaid position, and what really it is we've been receiving some help for our forestry grant application and programs, and we've been successful. We've gotten everyone that we've applied for, and that's been through the help of Mike McHugh. And while he is no longer our senior clerk, he's moved on to bigger and better things. He still has an interest, and this is one way. Again, this is completely unpaid. This is volunteer, but it's a way that that allows him to continue to do some work for us that right now we are unprepared to do on our own, and we don't have the number of hours available right now. So, if anybody has any other comments on that, if not, then I would just entertain a motion that we approve the job description's most recent update that allows for employment of non-high school graduates for the gatekeeper, and then the open space consultant position as previously discussed. I'll entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Motion made and supported to approve the job descriptions for gatekeeper and open space consultant. If there's no other discussion on that motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Charlie.
Aye.
Charlie
Aye.
Sullivan. Aye. Chris
Aye.
Mather. Aye. Chris Mather. Aye. Kevin. Aye. Kevin Demaris says aye. Motion passes unanimously. I have received some bills, just to let you folks know. I've just signed them. The 4 of them were for engineering consultants. They are not bills that we pay. They're bills that the applicant pays. So I've signed those, and they're available for viewing if you need. We can send them out to you. And then finally, we just have the meeting minutes from the last meeting. Those were sent out, Victoria? Yes. Yeah. So if you've had a chance to review them, we can take a motion now. If not, we can wait till the next meeting. That's up to you.
I'll make the motion.
Motion's been made to approve the meeting minutes from January 11th, 21. I need a second.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna second his motion.
Way to be a team player. I appreciate you being here there, Chris. So motion's made, supported. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote. Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie says aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather says aye. Kevin Demaris, aye. Kevin says aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, folks, we're getting pretty good at this stuff. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We keep it up another 20, 30 years, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right, if there's nothing else to properly come before the board, which I don't believe there is, I don't think there's anybody else on the call, it's just us. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. I should have mentioned it earlier. Keith sends his regrets. He had an international firefighters convention, but unfortunately, it's not in Las Vegas. It's all virtual. So he and a couple others are actually attending the convention. So that's where they're at in the virtual meeting tonight. So, all right, folks, we've done a motion to adjourn, right? No.
No.
Motion to adjourn I need.
I'll make that motion.
I know, don't fight over. Who needs a second?
I'll
Somebody second. All right, perfect. Motion's been made and supported to adjourn. All those in favor, Charlie Sullivan.
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan says aye. Chris Mather.
Aye.
Chris Mather says aye. Kevin Demaris says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Please stay safe. We'll get through this. Take care, everybody.
Have a good
Bye
day.
now. You too now. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.